Yeah. It just needed gardens because the cars were over 1,000 cars were there, and Ugandans were there to mark the end of a great chapter. But what stood out for me was that before that final state burial were numerous testimonies from different angles of individuals. And each story, when you listen to it, you might think that probably was the most important impact that the man had generated. Only to find that every other story, be it at his other village where he was born in Rukungiri, a similar story was popping out. In Liantonde, a similar story was popping up. And then from my own angle as Enterprise Uganda, I touched about it briefly last time. But I want to say it here that the story of Enterprise Uganda could easily have been rewritten differently had it not been for the commitment and the dedication of Mr. Mwakanizi. Mr. Mwakanizi was a board member at the PTA Bank, and I was an employee there. An advert was put in the press through the East African, and I applied. Came sat for the interview and was rated #1. We had a number of issues for clarifications, and it was taking long for me to make a decision to come home. Being a board member, after about almost 5 months, he gave me a call and said, Mr. Chichi, I'm coming for a board meeting at PTA Bank in Nairobi. I want to have a breakfast with you. And I've listened to the issues you've listed for you to come home and take leadership of Enterprise Uganda. So when he came, indeed, we went for a cup of tea. Then he opened his briefcase. He said, this is the letter now that, in my view, addresses issues you've been holding on to make the final move. And he told me, can you sign it now and then leave the bank this week and come home? And this is a man who was a board member. You could easily have said, wasn't that a sabotage for the institution where I was a board member to take a person who is good there? A person who has hesitated to leave the institution? But as I will confirm later, let me first state that when he gave me that letter, it covered most of the things who had not yet resolved. 6 months later, I come here, I start leading the institution. And I must say this, that when I came to lead Enterprise Uganda, it was the first institution of its kind. And it had been at a time when the country had just said, it is the private sector that changes the economy. And that concept had been fully sold to the World Bank, to the leadership and everybody else. But it was a challenge to now see individuals who had taken over government assets struggling to make those perform better than the government track records. So when the UN discovered that there is an institutional framework which has been crafted and confirmed by Harvard University, which if you install it properly, it will address the emergence of strong, visionary domestic private sector. That institution was being installed in different countries, in developing countries, through the United Nations, but through ministries of finance of host governments. So in the case of Uganda, it was also Ministry of Finance. And the UNDP said, this one, if you install it, it will work. So I finally said, let me come. And as I did that, for those who might say, maybe did the wrong thing to pull somebody who was happy in a particular place, this Mwakanizi man championed the restructuring of the bank where I used to work. 6 months after I left PTA Bank, he became the chairman, and the first chairman of PTA Bank, because the restructuring meant separating the position of president from position of chairman of the board. And when that was done, the man the board members, directors themselves saw was suitable to lead the new board was Mwakanizi. Just to tell you that he loved PTA Bank so much, but he also loved Uganda so much. So he said, by me removing Chichi from PTA Bank, it does not necessarily mean I'm disabling the PTA Bank. In the PTA Bank, he championed the restructuring of the institution and put it in a level that was more than 3 times bigger by the time he handed over the chairmanship. But I bring the story of my interaction with Mwakanisi because, as I said, the United Nations had installed 14 other centers of similar nature in African countries. Yeah. But here's the picture. The Moroccan model had to be relaunched 3 times because of leadership. 3 times it was relaunched. The resources were available. The individuals were available. But you needed to come up with the proper selection of a team to get the enterprise development model to succeed in a country. Morocco 3 times. Ethiopia relaunched 3 times. Botswana relaunched twice. South Africa relaunched twice. So by the time they were launching Enterprise Uganda, which was then the 14th country to host the model, they had borrowed a leaf across the continent. Yeah. So while I was delaying to come, they said it pays to still talk with the person that we feel can come and give us leadership in the institution. So I believe, but when I finally came in, Ochichi suddenly discovered that much as there was good money at PTA Bank, a bit more peace also there. I think I discovered what I call a calling in Enterprise Uganda. There is no job as fulfilling, as rewarding as an engagement where you come in and touch people's lives, and then you are in Kisoro and somebody says, Mr. Chicha, I started with 10,000. Today my business is worth 50 million. You go to Soroti, somebody says, I was in a seedlings business, I was an employee. After Enterprise Uganda, 20 years, 7 years later, remember the man we brought here?
Okay, that's what I was going to tell you, that you don't even have to use many words, because these guys have been here.
All the stories that came out of here are the kind of stories that can tell somebody to say, I discovered a calling. This was no longer a job. And for many Ugandans who think and believe that Ochichi was the owner of Enterprise Uganda, it was somebody called Mwakanisi saying, come, you fit into this space. But when I came in, he never gave me what you call baby handling. He said, you have come into the thing, enterprise creating entity must itself be enterprising.
There have to be results.
Deliver, fight in that space, and make yourself relevant.
Beautiful.
This was a man I could describe in many ways, but I would say he was not what you call a nice man. He was a principled man. If he gave you a yes, it was a yes. If it was a no, no amount of you trying to talk to any other person to convince him would work until he gets proper facts again. But Mwakanisi also was the kind of a person who would not abandon you in the forest. You're a fighter, you're delivering the dividends, he will say, let's keep fighting. What cost the battle bring a lot of blood this time? How do we fix it next time? So we would go with him to parliament, and a few things would be raised in there. We sit back with him and says, now let's address this. Let Enterprise Uganda be seen as an institution with no political shades, no yellow, no red, no blue, no green. Go to a Kanya's constituency. Go to Cecilio Gwal's constituency. Go to the Kirohora. Go to Ntungamo. Be everywhere. Deliver and be an institution for a national impact.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
So it is something that I will treasure a lot, because unlike many other false attempts that have happened in terms of installing this type of organization in the country, I think Enterprise Uganda had good beginnings. And I want to count on that so much, even as we say farewell to a great man.
Thank you, Charles. And I think that is a very good profile of the man, properly brought out and contextualized well. Now, there's something quite interesting, and I think it's the reason why we're here today with our visitors and, of course, the viewers that are watching us. The fact that, you don't just have to give people money.
Good point.
You got to prepare them
to
actually use the resources that you're giving them. And I think it sits well with where we are as a country at the moment, with the number of programs, including PDM and the like.
Exactly.
Because, for instance, the show we have today and the people we have today, and And viewers, I have to actually bring this to your attention that we are going to have quite very, very interesting ideas, you know, from the guests that we have today on what you can do with the little you have at the farm. Because when it comes to using the waste you have to actually produce something, I believe it's quite something really meaningful. But let's have a montage now to get a feel, to set us, you know, for the discussion that we have today, and get a feel of what the guests that we have in the studio are doing. In a bit.
The project has started since October 2021, and it is up and running. The project is benefiting farmers and us on a poultry value chain. So we are having, as I said before, a quite number of activities. We are training farmers because the project is trying to address many challenges on the value chain, on the poultry value chain, starting with feeds, actually starting with chicks, because what you saw down there, it was a parent stock of broiler, especially Hubbard, Efficient Plus. We are producing very good, high quality chicks at a very good price, and I'm sure everyone can say that. Compared to the market, we are at a very good price. And then we also address the issue of feeds. With feeds, we have stores, we have feed processing plants, so we make feeds, but we don't use mukene for our feeds, because mukene has been a challenge for the quality of feeds, since mukene comes with an issue of aflatoxin, for those who know it. So aflatoxin is impacting on the performance of chicken. We are also addressing the knowledge gap of farmers. Because let's say you come to me, you buy my chicks, you buy my feeds. Because of poor management, you get bad results. You will keep pointing me on fingers saying that it's because of me, that my chicks are not well performing, or my feeds, yet the problem comes from you. So to address that one, we are providing training for free to farmers, poultry farmers, especially broiler ones. Then we are also providing extension services. We have extension workers who attend farmers for free. So as soon as you qualify to be a farmer, but in addition to extension workers, we also have model farmers who keep assisting. Because when you come to me, maybe you'll see my farm is very big. You will see automated systems, and you get scared. But when you go through your model farmer, you will be able to learn. Because a model farmer can be having 500 to 1,000 or even more birds. So a smallholder farmer will be able to learn from his fellow farmer who is a model farmer. To confirm with protection of environment, we have several measures we have put in place. The first all is, let me start from the building side. The building you are seeing here, we use interlocking blocks. The interlocking blocks, they minimize the consumption of cement. Actually, we consume very less cement because the blocks are holding each other. Secondly, for the energy production, we use lights, which is solar lights, and then we also use biogas to heat, to produce heat. Because you remember when you are brooding, the chicks need some warm environment, of which we get from the biogas. Our waste, which we produce from the poultry houses, the waste we get from the grain handling facility, because as you are processing grain, you get the waste. Then there is also waste which comes from the hatchery, like dead chicks, eggshells, all those things. We put them together to produce what we call BSF larvae, black soldier fly. Black soldier fly, it is produced on anything which can decompose, including farm waste. So that farm waste is not thrown away, no. We decompose it and it gives us two products. The first product is high quality organic manure. The manure is used to improve the texture of the soil. There is something I wanted to mention here about black soldier fly technology in organic waste. For example, you have your cow dung. Cow dung normally takes between 6 months to 1 year to fully decompose, depending on the system you are using to compost it. But with black soldier fly, it takes 14 days to decompose it. So in terms of time, it reduces greenhouse gases by 93%, because you would have kept it for 1 year, but now you have kept it for 14 days and it is ready for use in the garden. So black soldier fly is a very efficient technology to manage our wastes and to reduce on the gas, on emission of the gas in the environment. In addition to that, we also have other BSF farmers who are like outgrowers. They grow BSF using market waste, food waste, any waste they can access to, so that they do what? They don't only green their project, but they also help to reduce waste or to sufficiently manage waste in Uganda especially. All of this for us has been possible by our partnership with ABI. ABI came in, actually the greening part of the project, all of it is under ABI funds. We are running it on ABI funds, and we are greening our farmers' projects with ABI support. They offer their support in different ways, in ways of grants, in ways of even the management part of it, because they oversee the project and how the project is running. They give us support in terms of monitoring the performance of the project. So this collaboration with ABI has made everything possible for us.
A friend told me about hatches and actually referred, because I had already begun scaling up. He had already seen my pilot and he shared my contact with Hatches. So Hatches contacted me and they organized the training. I went to train as a model farmer, but by the time I went, I actually had already had my basic training. I'd already done my pilot study on my own, and I was at a stage of doing it now at a bigger scale at the farm, because I did the pilot at home. I just had a room that I had put aside to help me appreciate the concept better. So when I came and did this here is when now I had that formal engagement. After the training with Hatches as a model farmer, I went and also identified other farmers. So those farmers now have been taking them through, because many of them, when they came on board, I was a stage higher than them, because many of them were just getting the concept maybe fresh from Hatches then, because I'm the one that introduced them to it. So with the Hatches extension staff, they usually meet here periodically and they train. So the demand for the black soldier fly larvae is really high. And it is that demand that is actually giving us reason now to scale up, to secure the wastes, the discussions we're having with the Mukono Municipal Council, because that is a problem for them. And while it is a problem, for us it is an opportunity. Our production, we intend to actually scale it up. We intend to fill these shelves here, because all these, when we fill these shelves, our production at every one round will be between 2 to 3 tons of fresh larvae when we fill up here and here. So that is our target in the next 3-4 months.
Welcome back, viewers, and now I know you now know what our guests are doing. And Charles, I want to run quickly to you before I come to Fiston here. You always say, of course, one of the best ways to build sustainable businesses is to solve a problem. Solve a problem for community or people.
Very correct.
And I like the statement the lady, I think the last lady, talked about.
Yeah.
Problem somewhere.
Yes.
Is actually an opportunity here. And the solution is also in between.
Correct.
I really wanted you to run something small before I bring in Fiston here.
Yeah. You know, you do not cause people to do business mechanically.
Yeah.
The moment there is what they call mutual benefit between one party and another party, you don't need to coerce them now to do business. This party who has got this waste here, and then the other person says, I need it, these fellows will automatically do business. So the moment there is any concept that has got that ability to transfer value to either party, there will always be a strong relationship. And I want, whenever we bring any new concept, like now we're talking about PDM and other programs, try to promote the value that the participants in that activity will derive. Black soldier fly. Just the word fly alone would tell somebody, don't even try to bring it here. Flies are the source of disease. Until somebody demonstrates that, no, the fly we're talking about here is a managed fly. And this fly only thrives in this kind of environment. And this fly delivers larvae, and it's the larvae that bring the benefit that we later benefit from. Sell the concept and sell the value to the person going to use it. And then you see change automatically beginning to take place.
I hear you. I hear you. So, I'll come to you, Fiston, before I bring in Sylvia. You know, you have a very, very good initiative. I've seen, of course, in your submission, you're talking about the kind of support that ABI gave you and still gives you at this moment. But, you know, just walk us through what triggered, you know, the coming or the putting together of this idea, and a bit of a picture of how the beginning was. Because I know that those who are watching it and are saying, how do you begin this?
Thank you so much for that question, Charles. You see, the whole journey started with a challenge. Because as human beings, when we face a challenge, we try to develop different methods or strategies to address it. As the challenge which is being faced by the world of climate change, if we are here today, is to try to see if together everyone can contribute something so that we come up with a solution. That is our nature. So at the farm, we had a problem of waste. And that problem is being faced by all the farmers in livestock. If, for example, you are in cow farming or piggery, poultry, you know what I'm saying. You can easily understand it because you have tons of waste per day. You get it? So we were trying to understand which technology can be used to address that challenge and turn it into an opportunity for us to not only make money, but also to help other people to make money. Because it is a very easy concept, a very easy technology to be adopted. That's how we approached ABI. And they understood what we were meaning, what we were saying, and they accepted to support us. That is it. That's how we reached to BSF.
I would want Fiston also to touch the science of the black soldier fly.
Actually, yeah.
That science is an interesting one, and it would be very good for the people watching to see why this specific fly came into being as the most important fly we could adopt.
And where do you get it?
Very interesting.
You know, if I need these guys, where do I go?
Okay, thank you. Black soldier fly, it is a fly, as you saw it on picture or on video. It's a fly which mainly came from Australia to Africa. It's a fly which is disease-free, first of all. It's a fly which is, let's say, vector-free. It decomposes anything like microbes. It kills it. The system of the fly help us to control all those things like fungus, microbes, anything which goes in the fly comes out clear and clean.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
Actually, there is even a research which is being conducted. It seems that that fly can even help to reduce the metals in food.
Okay.
So, black soldier fly, as other flies, it has a cycle from egg to hatchling, from hatchling to pupa, then from pupa, actually from hatchlings to larvae, then from larvae to pupa, then from pupa to the fly.
You reminded me of my primary school science.
Yes.
Yes.
And the productive part of that cycle is the larvae.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the productive part of that cycle,
For the person making profits.
it is not only the larvae, but the larvae is among the product you get from black soldier fly.
Okay.
I hear you.
Because when you get eggs, one fly can give you between 350 to 500 eggs. One fly in
After-
the lifespan.
Oh, which is what period of time are we looking at?
Mainly, it takes between it's 7 days
Okay.
before it dies.
Oh,
7 days.
Yeah,
because
And it gives you 500 eggs.
exactly.
because my next question was
Those
when-
people, they are busy laying. Those guys are busy laying.
That's quite something.
Yeah. So when you have flies, okay, it requires some bits of technology so that they start laying and doing it in a proper way.
I hear you.
Because you can.
Sorry, I was going to ask, so if I want to get them, I'm a farmer, where do I go? How do I get them? And how do I transport them? And what conditions do they need, to thrive? And
You can
productive.
either get eggs or you can get hatchlings.
okay,
But we normally advise farmers to start with hatchlings because getting eggs, okay, the hatchability may not be good because of the environment you are hatching in. But if you get hatchlings of 7 days, 1 kilogram of hatchlings of 7 days can give you between 30 to 40 kilogram of larvae.
oh,
Yes, and from there you harvest after 7 days, more 7 days, to make it a total of 14 days.
I hear you. Let me get you clearly, especially for the purpose of our viewers. So larvae is this maggot looking like something.
Exactly.
Okay.
When it has that color of white, it is maggot. When it turns to black color, it becomes pupa and become dormant.
I'm going to get back to you, Fiston, on that, especially on the products. That value chain of the black soldier fly. Let me come to you, Mercy. You're the person in monitoring and evaluation. And I know some of the people watching us, they might be asking themselves, probably, what are how do you limit, for starters, the unwanted results, from introducing these guys in the ecosystem? Because, like Charles mentioned, we know flies to be associated with not very good news.
Yeah.
Now, a farmer might worry that probably, they might stray and become crop eaters or something like that. So what assurance do you give the viewers that actually this is the real deal?
Actually, for starters, BSF or the black soldier fly is not a pest.
Okay.
And of course, you know, we have that association of flies, the fear of flies, and actually to the many people that we approached, talking to them about this, some of them, you know, they feel like, you know, this is something very disgusting, something that shouldn't be brought to public. But it is not a pest, and it is disease-free. Like, it can even come and land on your hand and it will not bite you. So it is something that is actually helping our environment to clean it up, instead of actually bringing maybe more disease. Because one thing we should understand that the organic matter, like he said, the organic matter takes a long time to decompose. And during the time when it is decomposing, it is releasing methane, which goes to the ozone layer. So as a result, we are increasing on the global warming. However, when we are using the BSF, which is reducing on the time of the decomposing of this organic matter, we are actually limiting the release of what? Of methane. So it is actually cleaning our environment. And of course, you know, as you can see, when people are usually moving around to look for, let me say, like to clean up waste and all that, you know, you see people looking for bottles. You see people looking for a polythene bag, because they know they are going to get it and sell it somewhere. But for the organic matter, it's not like, many people ignore it, unless maybe someone is a farmer and maybe they're using it to feed their stock. But most people are going to ignore it. And then this, it's going to increase in the dumping sites, to an extent that even the government reaches a point of looking for another site to actually put this organic matter. But in this instance, if we're using the black soldier fly, which is actually crushing down this decomposing matter in 2 weeks instead of 6 months or even more, then why not use it?
I hear you.
Yes,
so when I get them, and I want now to look at the business sense of it. If I'm a farmer and I want to get them, do they reproduce, or every time I want to replenish, I have to again buy the new ones?
Actually, there are two ways. I usually explain this for people to understand it better. I relate it to poultry.
Okay.
In poultry, we have a way of you buying the day-old chicks, and then you keep these chicks up to, let me say, 1 month, or maybe some people keep them for 2 months, and then you sell off. Then there's also a way of you having a hatchery, that you can actually, you know, you have a parent stock, so the birds lay eggs and then you hatch them and then you raise them. So even this on the side of BSF, we have farmers who go the whole cycle, which is from the egg to the hatchling to the larvae, then to the pupa, then to the adult fly. Then there are those who choose not to go through that, you know, that process.
We just want our manure.
Exactly.
Yes.
So someone just comes in, buys the eggs, feeds the larvae, then after 14 days, he sells. Yeah.
Great. Charles, I don't know what you're picking for us, but as you come through, there's something I'm seeing. We really live in a new world. A totally different way to do things, because the environment around us is changing so fast.
It is.
But I don't know what you picked and how
you've just touched it very beautifully. The issue here is there are issues who have been treating us something totally useless. There's science saying there is an insect that can convert the useless to something useful. Now that science is taking us to a concept of appreciating change. We have gotten used to doing things in a particular way. We have also had mindset fixated outlook to certain insects. There is room for professionals to guide us as we walk through the journey of change. And that journey of change has got factors today that are forcing us to walk into it quickly and faster. And that factor is environmental management. This fly is saying I can improve the fertilizer generation and avoid you going for other methods of getting fertilizers. And this fly, apparently, if you've used it, if your role is just keep getting flies for particular volume of waste, and you have finalized to decompose that waste, I think the thing that the viewers will now be looking at, some of them are things like this. I got the fly, I had a volume of waste that needed to be decomposed. It has been decomposed. How do I separate the larvae from that waste which is now ready for use. Number two, if I do the separation, where do I take this larvae? That because it seems like this fly will continue even laying as it is doing the job of decomposing. Don't they do that? You continue. Yes.
Basically, the fly doesn't eat.
It doesn't eat.
No, it doesn't. It sucks. So it feeds on water only. But the larvae does. The larvae eats. So that means what? If you decide to go into the full circle, you have to set what we call insectarium. Insectarium need to have cages, as you saw, but to make it simple for farmers, to not complicate it to farmers, you can design your insectarium with untreated mosquito net.
Okay.
So that the flies don't escape. So you design your cages as you saw that farm. Then your flies can be giving you eggs, but they lay during the day because they need light when they're laying. When they are mating, actually, in those cages, they need to access natural light, but not sunshine. They don't need sunshine. So that's why people use these greenhouse polythene papers, because it lets in some...
And that gives a bit of assurance that they can thrive in an open...
Exactly. But they can still do.
Okay.
But we are here talking about now performance at different levels.
If you want in a controlled environment.
Exactly. So if you don't want to go into the full circle, you can still come back to some of us who have hatchlings, what we call neonites technically, and we sell to you neonites.
Okay.
So hatchling is a newly hatched young of a fly.
Yeah. It is maggots. It's a maggot.
It's a maggot. Yeah, actually, that's the word.
Maggot. Before it converts to, because you see that will now be easily understandable.
Yeah,
a maggot is a clear word. Yes,
but we don't sell them now at let's say 1 day like chicks. No, because they are at 1 day you may not even be able to see them.
Yeah,
they are very small, but we sell them at 7 days.
Okay,
so at 7 days it's fully.
It's still a hatchling, but it's very small.
You can see the size.
You can see the size, and you can now weigh it very well.
Yeah, interesting. So I love this show because it's combining the science and business. Now, the thing I wanted to ask is just to make sense. You know, if I'm a farmer, I'm watching and want to make a rational decision, I need to know how much, do I need to buy to generate so much. So in other words, if I need, let's say, a kilo of or 10 kilos of feeds, or of certain volume, how much, hatchlings do I need to, buy, or how much do I invest in the black soldier flies? Because it's these guys who actually give us this entire thing. So what do I need to actually put in order to get started, to get something meaningful that can start me off? I know it's a bit of a tricky question, but you can give me it is begging an illustration.
Correct.
For the viewer to understand well.
Because our viewers, this is show. They at the end of the show, they'll be saying, give me your phone number. I want to go in that direction.
And do this.
And for them to have gotten to that step of saying, I'm convinced, we've got to tell them that, because I want to assume that in the show today, the majority of the people who are talking to are farmers who just want manure. Or want the products that come from black soldier fly. So you can give us the 2 or so products that come from that fly. And then you can now say, this is how to get those products. Because you've mentioned feeds, you have also mentioned manure. Now, those 2 to a farmer, that's where money comes from.
Not only those ones.
Go ahead, please. It's your territory.
From black soldier fly, from larvae, you can get. From black soldier fly, you get larvae, which is a very good source of protein, especially animal protein. Because when you are making animal feeds, you need, like for poultry, you need 15% of animal feeds, animal protein.
Yes.
And then you need 15% of, let's say, vegetable protein for you to make the 30%. But depending on the ages of the animal.
Correct.
So black soldier fly can give you that one, the larvae. Then when the larvae is eating, in 100 kilogram of waste you have put in, you get 70% of frass. That's the technical words. The organic manure.
Language, that's the organic manure.
Yes.
70% organic manure.
I hear you.
Exactly. You get 70% frass and 30% protein, which is larvae.
Okay.
But in addition, that manure, okay, different people are selling at different prices. Like you can get a bag of 120 kilogram at 50,000.
Okay. Then
you can also some people are selling larvae, 1 kilo of fresh at 1,500. Others are selling at 2,000, depending on the markets. If you dry it, 1 kilo can go up to between 3,000 and 5,000 a kilo. But the good thing with it is the fact that 1 kilo of dry larvae can give you much protein, because the protein content varies between 30 to 65%, depending on comparing to the one of mukene or silverfish,
okay,
which is around 30, 33, 35%. You get it? It means what? It means with 1 kilo of black soldier fly, you can make more feeds than 1 kilo of silverfish.
Of silverfish, mokene.
Because you have a lot in terms of protein.
The content.
Exactly. Then from frass, you have manure, organic manure, if you want to use it directly into your garden. You can also make pesticide. Why? Because black soldier, where black soldier fly is, it has that power to chase away other flies.
It's a repellent.
It's a repellent.
Just on that point, I have this fly that has ability to chase other flies that can bring problems, other pests. Do I release this fly then to the garden?
No, just get your fly as you're harvesting. You're harvesting your larvae. You get larvae, you soft kill it with some warm water. Yeah, of course, we are not criminals. You soft kill it with some warm water. It shouldn't be high temperature, surely, because you are not a killer. That product you get, spray it on your plants. That water, the liquid which comes out.
Yes.
Quite interesting. Quite interesting indeed.
In addition to what he has said, even with the frass itself, when you remove it, because you know it's going to have the shells of the pupa, then it's also going to have the remains of the food. So what some people do, they get it and put it like in a cotton cloth, then soak it in water. You let it ferment. So when it ferments, you just get it and spray on your plants. This is a very good, purely organic pesticide that is not going to cause again problems to you, even to us, the human beings who are consuming these plants, you know, who are consuming these things that are coming from the garden. So it is purely organic. And then also the beauty of the frass itself, when you're using...
Is frass the same as organic manure?
Yeah, organic waste from
the trough where you're feeding from. Once you've taken out the the larvae, so what remains is what we call the frass. So you can actually, you know, with waste from our let me say cow dung or from the piggery and all that, you don't put it direct to the gardens because it has that high content of methane that I talked about. But with black soldier fly, it has already cut down that content of methane. So you can actually just get that frass fresh from your troughs and put it in the garden. Beautiful. And it works as a very good fertilizer, still purely organic.
Before I forget, sorry for this, you know what we call booster.
Yes,
Booster,
for
yes.
chicks and everything.
No, for plants.
There's
Okay.
also booster for
There is
plants.
booster
Yes.
for plants. As much as you are using it, the liquids, as a repellent or a pesticide, the very liquids can be used to boost plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Now-
wanted just to add that one.
Now, quite interesting. Now, there's something. Charles, you wanted to come in before?
Yes, I also wanted our people here to be addressing different interests of the viewers. For example, a viewer is saying, for me, that process of raising all those things, it's complicated and looks good and whatever, but I just want to access ready-to-use organic manure.
Yes.
Where can I get it? Or must I, if I'm to follow this technology, must I be the one to raise the flies and get the flies to do the job in my place?
Yes, and whether there is that option
Yes.
that I can actually walk somewhere because of the benefits I've seen.
Yes,
and
I just go
appreciate
and
it.
buy the things.
Buy and then apply. But as you answer that as well, there's a very important issue you raised at the beginning, and I think she has alluded to it as well, Mercy. The issue of methane. You know, because we understand climate change is a big problem today.
It
and
is.
anything that can be, you know, all these gases, if and some of these elements, if they can be arrested somewhere without being released to the environment, it becomes a very, very important, you know, intervention. So just walk us through, how does that happen? How does this thing, and besides controlling the methane and everything, what more other value is it adding, you know, towards controlling, you know, the managing the environment better as we try to roll back the impact of climate change? Of course, we now appreciate waste in general terms, that it's now helping us to deal with the waste. Because I've seen some, even the president the other day was, you know, complaining about, you know, much waste in some, especially towns around the country and all that. So how does it help? What more, or what are the different ways in which it's helping?
I guess the question was for me.
Yes,
First of all,
that's
let me.
Mercy can complement as well.
Okay. If you have your waste and you need organic manure,
Yes.
just call hatches.
Aha.
Okay,
Call hatches, we give you hatchlings.
okay.
Okay.
We are there to hatch for you.
So you'll go to my place where there is waste,
Yeah.
and then you can work on the waste and then guarantee a certain period for me to get the manure to use.
Actually, most of waste is decomposed in 14 days.
Okay.
14 days. And to answer your question, black soldier fly can help us to handle most of issues related to climate change or climate change effects in some 3 or 4 ways. The first one is through breaking down the waste. As you saw in the video, I mentioned that cow dung, depending on the method you are using to compost it, can take between 6 months to 1 year.
Yeah.
So that it is fully decomposed, you can use it into your garden. Otherwise, it can burn your
crops.
product. But black soldier fly can decompose it in 14 days, and you use it.
And it's ready.
That means what? As you are keeping it, it is emitting greenhouse gases.
Okay.
As you are keeping it to decompose,
Yeah.
Correct.
it is emitting the gas.
Which we don't want.
If you don't keep it for long and you get the same results in a shorter period, you have
Now that's
avoided.
tracking the message.
Yes.
Exactly.
True. So using one stone and hitting two birds.
Very true.
So you have addressed the issue of gas emission.
Hold it there,
Greenhouse.
Fiston. Viewers, we're going to take a very short commercial break. Today, we've taken a very technical approach, you know, to the subject of business and more so agribusiness. And I'm very sure you're learning. And this is the space where the time when you really need that book and pen very close to you, because what we are learning here can be quite transformational. So we're going to pick the discussion from there, as again Fiston will be coming back to tell us more products or more advantages that the black soldier fly, you know, brings to the equation of climate change, but then also, you know, supporting your business as an agribusiness player. After the break. Welcome back. It's still the Business X-Ray Show, and today we're looking at those simple methods and practices at the farm that you can use to actually manage, waste, but then also see value at the farm, but at the same time protecting the environment. And today we're paying special attention to the black soldier flies, and we have Hatches Limited. They are in the studio with us, and they're sharing with us, first of all, they've broken for us how this happens. You know, how the black soldier flies are, grown, and then how they are deployed and the products that come out of, these flies. And before we went for a break, Fiston was mentioning for us, first of all, the kind of products that come out of this, but then how it relates, to controlling the environment and climate change, which is a big challenge that many of us are contending with at this particular moment. So, Fiston, let's pick it from there. Maybe before you come in, I also need to remind viewers that you can be part of this show. And I think we're going to spare a very good time because I know there are quite a number of questions out there.
Clarifications will come through.
Yes, for you to ask the gentleman and the lady we have in the studio any question that you want about that. Yes.
Thank you so much. I had talked about breaking down the organic waste in a very short time, which reduces on emission of greenhouse gases. But it can also help into making feeds, low-cost feeds. Because the challenge we are getting currently with Mukene is a competition between human consumption and animal consumption. And we are really misusing that resource. Actually, if people know what is happening to different lakes in Uganda. So if we can address that issue also through getting another alternative source of protein, it can really help.
For the animals now? For
the animals. But even people are consuming it. In China.
Oh, okay.
Actually, even in Uganda, I know of a farmer who, only that he told us when you want to feed it when you want to consume it as a human being, do not use rotten or organic matter, Okay. Use, let me say avocado that is ripe, bananas that are ripe, then you can, he actually puts it in porridge, makes a powder, puts it in porridge, and the children are enjoying it.
Wow, Charles, I know you are the apostle of innovation.
It boosts immunity.
It's a very good immunity booster.
It boosts immunity.
Yes. Oh, great. Now, again, talking about the farmer, and I think I'll bring you in here, Mercy. What has been the experience of those that have, taken on this technology, and are they making money? Are they in business? And is it working? If you can paint for us a bit of a picture. And
specify specific areas of those people who are making money.
Yes.
Are they the fellows who are saying, me, I just buy the products and I use them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody might be saying, me, I'm the one who actually sells the technology to a person who uses, and I make my money from that way. So let's see the journey so far and how people are enjoying the technology.
Yes, actually, to start with your question, Mr. Ochichi, when we were starting this project, we had to mobilize for farmers to join the venture on the side of poultry and then on the side of black soldier fly. Okay. In particular, I met a lady in Ginger as I was moving with the extension workers, and she's a poultry farmer, and we told her about also the aspect of the black soldier fly, and believe me, in that instance she started like shivering, like she would feel as if like
don't even dare.
Don't talk about it, maggots. There's something very, but surprisingly right now she's one of the people that is buying the dry larvae to feed her stock. Yes, and then also on the other side of the farmers that have really joined this venture, there is a lady that also joined the project. She didn't have anything at all.
Okay.
And yeah, we approached her, talked to her about the black soldier fly, and she decided to take this on.
Okay.
I was interacting with her, and she was telling me people actually call her and ask, do you have this much? Do you have 5 kilograms? Of course, she's doing it at a fairly small scale. It's not really large like the one that you saw in the montage. But she told me that she's getting people like phone calls. We want black soldier fly, we want the larvae, we want, you know, to feed our animals. And actually it is very good even for of course piggery, you know. So people are actually making money using low cost materials like just waste, like of course, you know, there is that aspect of trying to get the waste, but if you have, you know, you have your farm, you have your poultry, you have your piggery, you have your cows, you know, you have a good source of the waste in the first place. So people are actually making money from this, and then also from the frass. Like what, because I've seen Mr. Chief been so much interested in the organic manure.
Yes, where people are going to make money. The viewers are looking at money issue here.
People actually look for these people to get that frass, because they know, number one, they're not putting in a lot of money, and then this is purely organic. And then I actually met a group still in Ginger, and it's a group of ladies who come together to, you know, for development. They have like a circle, and this is what they were doing, and they've been doing it for quite some time, and they are really making money out of this, because they know they are supplying to the whole village manure. Those who have poultry or who have livestock, they are giving them feeds, cheaper feeds. So, and also on the side of feeds, you know, with poultry, you have to buy the cotton seed cake to be able to have fat in the as you're raising your birds.
Yes.
But with BSF, you have actually free fat.
Free fat.
Beautiful.
So you may not need to again buy.
Add that.
Exactly.
In the ingredients.
Yes. So these people are actually saving money by not putting in too much in feeds of their poultry.
I get you.
Yeah.
So in terms of waste, let's look at the content of waste, because I know every home generates waste in this country.
Yes.
And more so, most farms, small farms, you know, peasants and all that. So which waste are we looking at that can actually give you good results? If you can also walk our viewers through that.
Fiston will also guide on this, but basically it is any waste that can decompose.
Okay.
Actually, some farmers have even gone ahead to even use maize bran, to also use even brewery waste. So it's anything that can decompose. And as you heard when Fiston was talking about throughout the montage, he talked about also the using of eggshells, using of dead old chicks. You know, like in the hatchery, you have that hatchery waste. Some chicks are not going to be put on the market because of whatever they come out. But you're actually using anything that can decompose.
Okay.
Starting from animal waste, starting from market waste. People actually go to the markets and get this waste, you know. So anything that can decompose is good waste to go.
Okay. So Fiston, again coming to you, as you know, you prepare to compliment on that. The environment, and what kind of setup do I need, you know, to simple setup that is, because I saw the one we had in a montage was could be a bit sophisticated for some of our farmers. So I'm a farmer in Masaka, down at the grassroots, or in Gulu, and I want to do this. How do I, you know, what kind of setup do I need to have these guys start to, you know, break down the decomposition and everything?
Thank you. For you to get black soldier fly starting decomposing your waste, all you need is where you can put your waste, first of all. Some people are using feed troughs like butasa. Others are using, they just construct something down with cement and bricks and put in waste. Then they add the neonites or hatchlings. They decompose from there. Others are using woods. You construct something with woods. Then you can put in Paulsen, this bivera. Then put your waste there. and put your maggots,
hatchlings.
so that they...
Please again explain for our viewers what you mean by hatchlings, because there are those that join us midway.
Yeah, they normally talk of a maggot or
hatchlings. They are baby maggots.
Okay.
That's a good word.
For 7 days, between 1 to 7 days.
It's a baby
and
maggot.
these you can get on the market.
Yes.
From places or people like you.
Exactly.
Great. So I have my, simple, let me call it a structure there, or container. Then I have my waste there. Then I introduce these guys, and they start working.
They start chewing.
So in how many days do I have the results? If it is manual?
If I give you hatchlings of 7 days,
yes,
you have your result in 7 days.
Okay.
That is 14 days.
14 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Before they become pupa.
They've already decomposed this thing.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I can move it to the
and
garden.
that makes it very simple for farmers because money can now rotate very fast.
After my waste has become manure, what happens to those insects? Do they die automatically in that manure, or what happens?
You separate.
Because I'm not interested in the insects anymore. I just want the manure.
If you are not interested in the insects,
yes,
those larvae,
yes,
you can harvest them and give them out to people who have animals. Like people who are in fish farming, fish eat them raw.
Harvesting means picking them one by one.
Not really.
Okay.
You need the mesh.
Okay.
You spread your manure plus the larvae
yes,
together. Larvae doesn't like light.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They are opposite of the flies.
Okay.
For them, they don't like light at all.
Okay.
As soon as you spread them there, they will go inside and they leave your manure.
So I have one of the viewers here, Fiston. Sorry, I'll move you a bit. So he's one is saying he has enjoyed the show so much, but he likes to get those black soldier. He's actually calling them black sodium flies, but they are black soldier flies. How do I get them, and where can I get knowledge about how to go about, this entire enterprise?
Where is he? If I can, I don't know.
He didn't specify.
But still, he wants to know how to get access to you.
Yes.
Okay.
Or to whoever.
We are in Mukono. Then we are also in Njeru especially.
Okay.
Our biggest farm is in Njeru. We work together in partnership with NTV Uganda. NTV is a
feed manufacturer.
A partner.
Okay.
Who his main business is black soldier fly.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you come to Hatches, we also have an office in Nakawa here at Akamwesi complex.
Okay.
So we can organize for you everything.
I hear you.
Yes.
Now, in terms of the value chain, does, because now where you are, you're actually playing across the entire value chain.
Yes.
So what opportunities are there, especially if a young man is watching? I think Charles alluded to it briefly. And he's saying, because young people are looking for opportunities.
Exactly.
Everywhere.
And waste is everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Where can they come in? What kind of advice would you give them, for the different stages and how they can, come into the value chain to be players in this space?
Okay. Along the value chain of black soldier fly, you can be a breeder, breeding, like you specialize in selling eggs only.
Okay.
You can specialize in selling hatchlings only.
The young maggots.
Young maggots.
Yeah.
To like for this farmer who want them.
Yeah.
You can specialize in selling larvae, both fresh and dry.
For the feeds manufacturers.
And
those
the
are
farmers.
many.
Yeah.
And farmers
Who can do the mixing? Who can do the
fish
mixing?
farmers, they feed them raw
Oh, okay.
on fish. Then pig farmers,
They also feed them
do raw,
direct.
Poultry farmers, you can choose to do them raw or dry, but dry is better because it reduces the content of water and increases the content of protein. You can choose to produce organic manure and sell it out. You can choose to produce organic pesticide and sell it out, or organic liquid fertilizer still and sell it out. I'm not yet finished.
I'm itching to intervene because it seems to be some opportunity.
It is heaven.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's gold.
Yeah.
There is something I wanted to mention here. There is a company which is establishing in Uganda.
Okay.
From fresh larvae, they treat it and get bio oil. Bio oil can be using in beauty industry. It can be used to produce biofuel. That company is coming to produce biofuel. You know the impact of our fuel on the environment. But they are trying to secure a sustainable source.
Because I know one of the discussion was about the fact that you needed, again, crops. Some of them humans need to eat to actually produce biofuels. Now, if it's going to come from
Black soldier fly
larvae, then I think that's a very, very interesting one. But again, I have someone here is asking, is actually a school proprietor or is in the school system. He's saying, as a school with enough human waste, can it be used to breed larvae?
It can, but it is forbidden.
Okay.
With Europe standard,
Okay.
it's forbidden because we don't know the controls you are going to put in place.
Okay.
The measures. Anything can happen, and you lose control and poison people. Me, I wouldn't like it to go there, that side.
Okay.
But still, it is possible.
I hear you.
In that way.
And I know where that one was coming from. If the whole stuff there can be converted into fertilizer in 7 days, the school would never have challenges of emptying those things.
Yeah.
You know?
And they will even have a fertilizer plant for that matter.
Yeah.
I can see trucks walking out of the school with.
Yeah.
But it's quite interesting. Now, so you said, I've liked the values chain. And I think what now the public needs to know is to get more awareness and more educated about
the
this.
black soldier fly.
Yeah. Because we are at a time when we actually need quite a lot of one opportunity
Yes.
for the big, you know, unemployment youths, and then of course the opportunity that comes out of it and the value
Alternative
that it adds.
to the small fish that we are using.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a good alternative to Mukene.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Mukene is getting depleted.
Absolutely.
If this can be promoted, even the fish or the feed manufacturers, this would be their number one. But also on the other hand, there are many farmers of chicken and livestock. If this can be eaten direct, then what we would be now saying is, where are the volumes? Because I would be saying I want a sack of dried larvae.
True.
A sack.
True.
Or 2 sacks or 10. That to me is a big issue. Then there could be an issue on policy whereby government will say, to ensure that good waste for this purpose is available. Please, in your home, put a container where you don't put glass, where you do metals, and then you have got something biodegradable. Now at that point, the amount of waste available, easily used, would come in.
Right.
So that's where I would be wanting a government officer listening to us to say, you know what, if that technology is really that great, how do we work as a nation to ride on it?
Absolutely. And again, still talking about that some issue, I have a viewer here. He's actually saying he's already in the production. But his main problem right now is the market, because he has produced some, but he's having a challenge on marketing them.
That's
he's
the
now
thing.
feeding them to his animals alone. I don't know whether you can say something to that as well.
Correct.
He doesn't show where he is though,
But he has
if you
touched
can
the
talk
issue
about
there.
it generally.
You know,
If many young people took interest in this thing,
Yes.
how would be the outlet?
what
What we need to make it to flow?
as you said before, business is when you are addressing a need. You get it? In Africa, we are having one problem. You may be having a product, and then there is someone who has a need, but to reach that person is becoming a challenge in Africa. I don't know why, and that's how the middlemen came in.
Yes. Yes.
And started eating money from farmers. But just make extra effort and approach fish. I mean, people who do fish farming. you just go to River Nile.
Yes.
People who are doing farming there.
The caging.
Caging.
Yes.
Or anybody who is doing catfish or piggery or whatever.
They will.
Actually, we have a farmer who is using black soldier fly larvae to feed on cows.
Great. Sorry, I'll cut you short, but I think you've given good counsel and good guidance on that. I have quite a number of questions coming in, and I think I'll direct this to Mercy. Someone is called Janan Akona from Agri Enterprise in Lira district. He's dealing in vegetable farming, but he's saying he has liked the idea of this kind of enterprise. How could we link up for technical advice? This is really interesting. So I think the number of viewers with the same question. So we'll be addressing the same for the others. How do people get in touch with hatches?
Okay. For starters, we have an office in Atakamwesi, Nakawa, and that is our liaison office in Kampala. And then also our farm is in Mokono, Umbalala. I don't know whether. I don't know, because how can we share a contact with them or something of that sort?
You can leave a number or
Here
something.
always people take contacts on this platform.
Because that would be
the marketing outlet contact that you have.
Okay. My phone is in the bag.
So I think Fiston can jump in on that. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
Because he has his phone, he can give the contact.
It's
if
fine.
It's okay.
There are two ways you can reach us. The first one is through email, which is hello@hatches limited, like LTD, hello@hatches ltd.
Hello with the real hello that we normally,
like
instead of
hi,
hello, we just say hello.
yeah. At hatchesltd.com. If you send there an email, we are going to respond to it.
Okay.
Then we also have an office number, of which I will provide later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I have quite a number of questions, but most of them actually wanting a more personal discussion
Yes.
with you, because this is a fairly technical
It's
area.
a new area.
But the most important thing is, Charles, it's opportunity, which
Yes.
I think is part of the purpose for this show.
A
New opportunity.
businessman will always look for something functional. Functional. Then to the simplicity of accessing that solution.
Yes.
You fix those two, he will now say at what price.
Yeah.
He's ready at your door, ready to say I'm in. Does it work? Does it replace the other things that are becoming a problem? Simplicity of accessing you and getting my solution. Fix those ones, and the checks begin to, and the money begins to flow.
Begins to roll in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the farmers here is saying, I have a small area, like a backyard. Can I do poultry with black soldier flies? Like have a poultry farm, little she collects, she's able to put it in.
Perfect.
It is very, actually that is a beauty of black soldier fly. You don't need
You don't need
lot
too
of
much space.
Okay.
You need a very small space, because you can maximize the space going
By
up.
using shelves.
Shelves, you put your utasa on shelves.
And of course, then you're also using the simple things like jerry cans. I mean, you might have a jerry can at home which is no longer in use. Cut it and use it to feed your BSF. So you don't need a lot of space, like too much land or what. Yes, just a small. I've seen farmers, of course, you know, the local farmers in the village areas, they usually have those small kitchens. Like on the outside of their houses, and that's what they are using. Just get a portion of the kitchen and use that.
And you home and dry. Okay.
When we talk about jerry cans or small trays for processing the manure, I have a full garden to put manure. How many then of this will I need?
Because if you to look at it from a commercial,
Yes. I'm a tomato grower. I have half an acre or 1 acre.
Actually, one acre is something very small.
Depending on the waste that comes
Because
out.
now if we're talking of cutting of the jerry cans there, I would need to cut out so many jerry cans.
If you
End up getting enough for the garden.
if you decide to go with feed troughs, and your, let's say your production target is like 7 tons of frass per day.
And frass is, as I keep on saying, is the manure
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's a manure.
It becomes manure when you decide to use it as manure in the garden.
Yes.
But still, depending on the waste you have used to produce it,
Yeah.
other people are using it as animal
To feed,
feeds.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get, if you use like chicken offals, fish offals, what?
Yeah.
You still take that frass, you
So-
take
so-
it
so-
back to
So we would take the black soldier fly as just a machine. It's a processor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it can give you that range of
breaking
products
down.
which you've just
Yes.
broken down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm afraid, gentlemen and lady, we don't have much time left. It's been a fairly technical discussion,
Yes.
but quite interesting,
And
quite
it's
an
a space
innovation.
we are not going to run away from.
Indeed, indeed. And I'm seeing my viewers are now bombarding me with all manner of questions, but we come to the end. I'm quite sure that it took time for them to really understand and appreciate that. And we'll try our level best to see how we can probably bring you back here, you know, in the future. But Mercy, what would be your last word as we conclude this?
My last word is to the youth, and I quote, "How long are we going to beg? You know, yet we have certain things that we can do to move ourselves out of poverty." I mean, if you're in an era of you're going to apply for a job and you're not going to get it, the competition is too stiff, then why can't you get another solution and make money? You know, and if black soldier fly is available for you to make money, then why not?
I hear you.
I mean, the process is it's a very easy process, and people are milking money out of it.
Great.
So the Baganda said, "Tolera ngalo, make money."
Beautiful.
Yes.
Fiston, in a minute.
Okay, mine is a question. How much money a boda young person can make a day or per week? But if you invest in a black soldier fly process, which takes you 7 days, in 7 days you can produce even a ton. Easily, you can produce a ton. And that ton, you sell frass and sell lavi. How much money are you going to make?
I can imagine.
The only challenge we are having now, it's quantity. Thank you.
Great, great, great. Charles, wrap this up for us.
Yes, I want the viewers to know that the business X-ray will never do what you call only traditional everyday conversation. We are walking into the space of climate change, and what we have touched on today may look something a bit far, but if mukene is becoming a problem, if rubbish is becoming a huge problem, and we're here even complaining with KCCA about rubbish, these kind of technologies here are not just about private sector alone. The public sector should also get involved and take interest. Because this technology, in my view right now, the biggest thing that we need to promote is awareness. Once awareness comes in, it seems to be a technology that is easily replicable. Anybody can easily start to handle it. It may require over time, as we get into the space, a regulation, a quality control process, and some standards. But those are things that can be worked upon.
Yep.
And I want to thank Hatches Limited today, a Ugandan initiative, for having come to the studio to share such a brilliant concept. Thank you so much, and keep at it, and always be here whenever Business X-Ray is on the show. Yeah.
Fiston, you can share the number briefly as we finish.
Okay, the office number is 20 09 14 791. I repeat, 20 09 14 791. I don't know whether I should also share my personal number.
They will always
No
be
problem.
happy.
Lastly.
Okay,
It's even easier because we are familiar with zero something.
okay. 077 21 55 018. I repeat, 077 21 55 018.
On that
Thank
note,
you.
viewers, thank you very much for being a good audience. Until next time, have a good evening and God bless.